What can we do differently? How can we improve ourselves? And how can we love people intentionally beyond all the knowledge that we have, beyond spending time with them, beyond giving them gifts, beyond helping them out? But how can we communicate love to them in a subtle way, even when we are angry? Because the times when you are angry and you want to communicate with them. So, how can we do it? Whenever we are having our takes at the Outspoken Network, we always have these pre-takes where we try to set the light, set the sound, set everywhere, make sure that it's ready. So one of the days where we were doing our pre-takes, I was I was going to give a feedback on something, and the way I just said it, and passed. So I was seated, pressing my phone. Most times I'm seated, where the other guys, or depending on who is around or those around, when the other guys are just behind the scene, watching me and all. So I was pressing my phone and I just responded, casually, I just responded and continued what I was doing. After the whole shoot, I watched one of the pre-takes and I was like, oh, this is so cool and all of that. And then it got to the part where I gave my response and I heard how I said it. And I felt bad because that was really, it had no atom of love in it. It was bland, it was sharp and rude. And I got to realize that that's not the only time I've done it. Yeah, so that's not the only time that I was supposed to respond in love, that I responded harshly. That was not the only time. That's not the first time. And I'm sure I've done that even after that day. So it makes it obvious that if I could only realize it while I was watching a video, that's to tell us that we can't really see ourselves, to give certain feedbacks on our attitude, to give certain feedbacks on how we respond to things, except we are actually watching ourselves. That's the part of self-awareness, but that's not what we're talking about now, yeah? Except we're actually watching ourselves. And that's why we have other friends who can be mirrors for us. So what can we do differently? How can we improve ourselves? And how can we love people intentionally beyond all the knowledge that we have, beyond spending time with them, beyond giving them gifts, beyond helping them out? But how can we communicate love to them in a subtle way, even when we are angry? Because the times when you are angry and you want to communicate with them. So how can we do it? I think the best way is to ask for feedbacks. So at every point in time, you can tell your friend that, okay, so I'm angry at you, but if there's any point where I begin to raise my voice, for instance, I already know that sometimes when I'm angry, except I take serious effort, yes, most times when I'm angry and I'm trying to say what's in my mind, I intensify my voice so it gets really loud. And then you think I'm shouting at you. I have no intentions of shouting at you. My voice just goes high. Sometimes, actually, I tell my friends that if my voice goes high, please let me know. And other times, I'm being conscious of it. So you'd hear me say in the middle of a conversation or just when we're having an argument or something, I'm just like, I'm raising my voice. So I calm down. So I pause a little and continue. And it's something I'm trying to do better. I do not want to be yelling at everybody, except there's a need to. But you understand me. I do not want to be treating people like they do not matter. I do not want people to have a conversation with me and feel less of themselves. I want them to feel loved, even when I'm angry at them. I want them to be able to still see a little bit of care in my actions, in my words, even when I am angry with them. So ask for feedbacks. Babe, is there anything that I'm doing right now that you do not like and you would want me to work on? Babe, is there anything that matters to you a lot that I'm taking for granted? Babe, is there anything that gets to you whenever I do it and it just looks like I do not care about it? Is there anything that I do that touches that deep part of you? Ask questions like that. And when we have when we have conversations like that, we get feedbacks, we learn to love people, not just in the way that we want to love them, but in the way that matters to them. For example, even though I shout, and when I'm angry, even though it's not intentional, I do not like being shouted at when you are angry. So I do not like being shouted at when we're having a conversation and when you need me to do something. But then I do it. So it's not something I consciously do, but it's something I subconsciously do. But I'm working hard to making sure that I do not do it as often, or reduce the amount of times that I do it. So even to a point where I just stop it entirely. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye.